Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. My name is Zo. That's Z-O or Z-O if you're outside of the U.S. And this is Backlook Cinema, the podcast, where we take a look back at the movies of yesteryear. But today is, well, I'm recording at night or, whenever you're listening. This is a very special episode. This is actually a bonus episode. This is bonus episode 17. Hadn't done this in a while. Bonus episode 17 is going to be dealing with a movie that just came out on Friday, Black Adam. And hopefully you'll listen to this and decide whether you want to see the movie. This is going to be spoiler free. I won't be spoiling anything for you, but I'm going to give you my impressions. And from those impressions, you can decide whether or not you want to see the movie. Now, let me go through some of the people who helped put this thing together. This movie was directed by Jarnay Collet Serra. It was written by Adam Steichel, Rory Hain, Sohrab Nosharvani. I'm having problems with these names because they're so complex and rich in culture. This movie was based on characters created by Bill Parker and Cece Beck. It stars, in part, Dwayne Johnson as Black Adam, also Tet Adam, Aldis Hodge as Hawkman / Carter Hall, Pierce Bronson as Dr. Fate / Kent Nelson, Noah Centineo as Atom Smasher / Al Rothstein, Sarah Shashi as Adriana Tomaz, Contessa Swindell as Cyclone / Maxine Hunkel, Marwan Kenzari as Ishmael / Sabak / King Ankh-Ton, Bodhi Sabangoy as Aman Tomaz, Mohammed Amer as Karim. And those are some of the people who starred in it. I've butchered some of those names, and I offer my extreme apologies. The music had a fantastic score by Lorne Balfe, or it might be Lorne Balfe. I'm not sure. There's an E at the end of the name. I'm not sure if the E is silent. He also has an E at the name of Lorne, so it could be Lorne E or Lorne. I'm not sure. I'm just throwing guesses around. But anyway, however you pronounce his name, the music is fantastic, and I'll start with there. So, it definitely, he did his superhero homework, and we know that he understands how to make a superhero score. Now, going into this movie, I can tell you that I didn't know much about Black Adam, only that he was the arch nemesis of Shazam. And that's all I knew about it, that he was a supervillain and that he has the exact same powers as Shazam. Now, he's being portrayed slightly different in this movie. He's being reimagined as an anti-hero. This movie also features the Justice Society. I don't know much about them either. In this version of this team, it features Hawkman as team leader. It features Dr. Fate, Atom Smasher, and Cyclone. And they come into conflict with Black Adam. It's almost like on sight. When I see you, it's on sight, son. That's how this all goes down. This movie will give you serious Terminator 2 vibes. It has a lot of elements from Terminator 2, and you'll see what I'm talking about if you should choose to go see the movie. And there's a lot of the Terminator in there. There's a lot of Sarah Connor in there, and there's a lot of John Connor in this movie. And it felt familiar, but it didn't, I don't know. It'll remind you of the movie, but it doesn't feel like a copy of Terminator 2. So, but it really felt good to see them play with those elements. I can also tell you that even though there's a lot of conflict between Black Adam and the Justice Society, there is also a villain in this movie, but he's not that much more complicated than the villain in Terminator 2. And this movie is uncomplicated. And if you enjoy superhero movies, if you enjoy action movies, then you will probably enjoy this movie. I know I enjoyed it immensely. I will say that there was a lot of very satisfying action in this movie, and the story was fine. I really enjoyed the story, and I just had a great time at the movies. Now, as I mentioned earlier, it has a significant disparity between the critic scores and the audience score on Rotten Tomato. Currently, it's sitting at 42% for the professional critics and 89% for audiences. So why is there such a huge gap? I think I know what the critics are probably saying about Black Adam. It's a lot of special effects. They probably didn't like the special effects late in action. That might be a part of it. It might be because the story uses they might see some of the tropes that are used in this movie as overly used or worn tropes. So, for example, there's a kind of buddy cop trope where the two cops just can't get along. They're fighting each other over the solution to a particular problem. That it seems to have shades of that in the movie, and that might be a part of it. They might feel like it's derivative of earlier works, such as I mentioned that it feels like it has shades of Terminator. They might say that the story is convoluted. They might be saying, I haven't read any of what the critics are saying. I just see the score, and I can imagine what the critics might be saying. One of the things they might be saying is that the protagonist, that being Black Adam, doesn't know what he wants, or that his reason for being doesn't make any sense to them, or something of that nature. There might be some choices that some of the characters make that don't make sense to them. And it's true. I think that's a feature of the story, is that Black Adam does not know what he wants. So he's kind of just floating around, right? He spends most of his time just floating around in the air. So that might be a part that they have a problem with. But I think that's probably a feature of the movie. That's probably one of the themes of the movie, is that he's in this movie. Black Adam is kind of a man lost in time. So there's that. I'm not exactly sure if that's what the particular problem is, but I can kind of see some of what the professionals might be saying. But audiences really like it. And I think they like it because it's just a fun movie. It's just a fun movie to watch. It's, like I say, it's just it's an action-laden, not overly sophisticated movie that you can just go into the movies and enjoy. It's where you go to eat popcorn. If I were to compare this movie, I would say that it's nowhere near like Morbius that was out earlier this year. It's more closely related to probably Shazam that came out a couple of years ago. It has the same energy as Shazam, but the story is darker. Like the Black Adam, while he is similar to Shazam, he is not Shazam. So he'll make different choices of Shazam. But as far as the feel of the movie, though darker, it has a similar feel. The story structure has a similar feel to it. So if you liked that movie, then you'll like Black Adam. So I think those complete my impressions of the movie. That just to tell you that I really liked it. And if you like superhero movies, you'll probably like this movie too. So that's it for this bonus episode. Please check out our regular episodes. They come out every Monday, where I go back to the past and talk about the movies of yesteryear and talk about why I liked those movies. You can also check us out on social media on Facebook and Instagram at Backlook Cinema Podcast, and on TikTok and Twitter at Backlook Cinema. Finally, if you like this show, then please help us grow. To do this, you can subscribe to the show, rate us or write a review on Spotify, Podchaser.com, Apple Podcast, or your favorite podcast app. Believe me, it matters. Be safe, share a movie from yesteryear with your family, hug your loved ones, and if you're going to be anything, be outstanding.